This is Pitch Please, the show where people who play games pitch ideas to people who make them. This week...
Oh, nice one, Alex. I told you to get the heist one.
I didn't want to do the heist, I wanted to do the control room. That's the good stuff.
We can't play it.
Well, this game is fucking shit then. Hello and welcome to Pitch Please. I'm Alex and I'm joined by developer Chris from Foggybox.
Hi.
Developer James from Catastrophic Overload.
Hi.
And in-house ideas man, Tom.
Idea boy, that's me. Hello.
That's Tom. So if you haven't listened to us before, the idea is we start with a pitch for a game and then we spend the rest of the show trying to figure out how to make it work. When we're all happy with it, relatively happy, like a general consensus, then it ends. Simple as that, in theory.
Ends.
Yeah, then it ends, then we're done. So
credits roll. You will carry on with your lives.
the person that generally provides us with those fantastic ideas is our amazing in-house artist ideas powerhouse, Tom.
Wow.
Auteur.
That's me, yeah.
That's
do
you.
you want my idea? Do you want my idea? Do you want to hear it?
I want it.
You want it? Okay.
I've changed my mind. Let's go back on hiatus. No, I'm kidding.
Well, to open up season 2 of Pitch Please, bum, 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 I have a game. Will you believe it? Would you believe it?
I don't.
Could you believe it?
Maybe.
Can you believe it?
I do now.
So, Chris, not too long ago, you let me on your Switch play Bubba Is You, and which is a very unique, very interesting, very cool puzzle game. If you don't know how it works, it's a programming puzzle game essentially, where you have these tiles that you move around. If Bubba is you, then you control Bubba. You can change the properties of these objects, like rock is push, so you can push the rock. If you take that away, then you can't push the rock anymore, and you have to figure out how all that works. And it's very confusing, and I want to thank you, Chris, because now I feel super dumb. It's hard as hell, that game.
It's fine. It was a really nice day. You sat on my lap. We talked. We played games. We laughed.
We loved. We lost.
We cried.
We wept. We hugged.
It was a wonderful and
All while
traumatic
social
day.
distancing, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. 2 meters apart because we're not gay. So
Amazing. Okay.
So
immediately you're out.
Bubba Is You is very unique. And what are we if not thieves? Stealing unique ideas and trying to make money out of it. We're nothing. We're nobody. So I have a concept for a game based kind of on Bubba Is You. I have written here, Bubba Is You, but its walk is true. A massive switchboard of commands you flick from true to false as you watch this character navigate a dungeon/level. And then underneath that it says, keep Bubba and nobody is you. Maybe multiplayer? The other player has to describe what they're coming up to, and the switchboard opens doors, activates jump pads, etc. So 2 different games there, kind of. But what were you imagining straight away?
Devs.
Okay. So straight off, in my head, what you were saying,
Enraged you.
From the weird idea bucket that emerged from. I got, you follow the player, and in my head, I think it might be just because I'm doing VR at the moment, I imagined a VR thing with a huge switchboard, right? And you've got a monitor, and you're watching this thing, and you just, as they walk up to door 1, you have to flick door 1, and then you have to shut door 1. But
yes, exactly.
But on top of that, it was that you can't have too many things active at the same time.
Okay.
It's the first thing that I imagined, is because I was like, well, you can just leave the switch on.
Sure.
So if you have to limit how many different things are on, and you need to do timings and stuff, you're like, okay, so I can't, if door 2 is up, door 4 can't be open. So you're like, okay, well I'll make sure I do that. And that's my immediate thoughts, but you need to
there's puzzles
add a limit.
In Super Mario World, or whichever one just came out on the Switch, the remake from the Wii U, there's puzzles where every time you jump, the platforms spin, and there's certain puzzles where if you jump and the platform's in the wrong place, you have to jump again. So turning stuff on and off, you don't want the jump pad to be on at a certain point because maybe it'll jump you into a spike trap in the ceiling or whatever. So maybe that's how
So it's
you
timing.
can get around that. Sometimes having stuff on is bad. Having stuff off is also bad. It's never good.
So, James, how are you seeing this?
The first thing that came to my head was nothing like what Chris was imagining. You're the guy in the van, and your protagonist is like a spy. and you've got to like turn the security cameras off, or you've got to open the door before they get shot, or you've got to like deploy a gadget or something to help this player that you're not really in control of do their thing.
Unless it's a multiplayer game.
Unless it's
in
multiplayer.
which case, that's what Keep Bubba and Nobody Is You is.
It's such a catchy name.
Nobody Explodes, by the way, is the reference.
Okay, right. Okay, now I get it.
Where maybe you can't see the level this guy is navigating, and they're just yelling commands at you, like, I need door A open, I need this jump pad activated, and you're like this almost airplane control seat, looking at just millions of buttons that do thousands of different things. And you're trying to like, oh God, where was the door controls again? You've slapped that one down. Like, oh no, I opened the lava trap. He's dead. I've killed him.
That sounds fantastic.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe it could have some, like, obviously Barbara Is You has some sort of elements where you can mix things together, right? So in Barbara Is You, you can make the rock pushable, or you can make it open doors, or you could literally say rock is win, and every time you walk into the rock you would win the level. So maybe you can tie certain things together with wire or whatever and say door is kill. Or nudge it around, and literally ripping direct out of Barbara Is You there.
The old telephone people, they had to patch you into that network. So like you're basically taking Barbara Is You and made it physical. Rather than the physicality that they have with the puzzles, you have to pull this pin out, put that in J13, which makes the door open, and then you need that.
Well, I think the difference being that you're in Bubba Is You, you are Bubba, right? So, or whatever
Not all the time.
You are controlling the main point of the game. Whereas with this idea, it sounds like, unless it's multiplayer, there is that element of I'm just responding to what something else is doing. As opposed to being in charge.
Yeah, like if it's a single player game, then I guess you would be this guy in this control seat looking at, a switchboard of massive rows of buttons, and you can just see this dude walking along. Maybe it's a side-scrolling game or whatever, and you see him walking up to a door, and you're like, fuck, okay, I need to open this door, bam. I need to activate this jump pad so we can get up to the higher level, bam. And that's how you navigate the level, by trying to react to what you can see ahead of this dude. If it's multiplayer, then obviously you can't see what they see, so they're yelling commands at you and you're trying to find all these buttons. I imagine also, after maybe an hour of this game being released, people are already speedrunning it and they have advanced control of this game, and you're watching speedruns of this game and they're just like flicking things like a million times a second.
You see people in those, like in the Japanese arcades doing what are they called, like the dancing games, just absolute masters, just being able to smash every single
but mixed with airport sim.
Airport sim. Okay, what's Chris, what have you got? Any new ideas?
So
are we moving this along?
Not really. I just want to cement the idea that I think that it should be multiplayer, like Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, and one person should be in VR, because you're completely closed off, and therefore you're stuck in your environment, not being able to see things, and you need that command of, okay, I'm approaching a door, it's got a red square on it, and it's shut. I need you to open that. So you're like, okay, open, red square. You plugged it in, and then there needs to be something that player. I think it's quite a lot important, considering
playable in VR. And
if you've got a grid
of
things and you need to navigate that, you're like, okay, you're going to tap, up, and that's just not fun. I think physically having to grab, but you can stay seated, which is a nicer experience.
Have you played, what was it called? We Were There Together, I think it's called, or We Were There Together. Basically,
we were there too, and we were there together.
That's the one. The We Were There series.
We were there.
Were we there?
Well, we
That's
were.
the next one.
I was there. Were you guys there? What's going on?
Why were we there?
Those are really fun, and you don't need VR for those to work. But obviously, the difference being is that you've both got equal footing in terms of what's going on. Like if you've got the grid of squares versus I'm running around a really rich environment and going, oh, I can see this, I can see that. Very different, right? So how do you make the grid bit fun?
That's why I put it in VR. Because
for me, you can annoy the other person, maybe. You can do things intentionally wrong. That's always fun.
Yeah, but I think the cooperation makes it infinitely more enjoyable, and it's just you're both in your own separate environments, like even if the second player is just playing on the screen, I'm in a headset, I can't see that. And I have to, it's that communication that makes, and the franticness that makes Keep Talking such a like an interesting game, because you both have to be on the same page, but you both require communication back and forth. So there could be a thing where it's like, okay, there's a shape on the door, it's red. Okay, but is it the red square, the red triangle? Because I need to put this fuse the right way around on this block. I need to have this lever up if it's a blue door, but a red square. Like things like that, where you can communicate back to each other.
And you could also have the character in the building or whatever it is run up to a door and say, I need you to hack into this control pad. And then it creates like a mini game. Okay, what can you see on your control pad? Okay, I need to do this thing on my end.
I do think there's something there with the spy and the person in the van. You give them a set of cameras, and even Phasmophobia had that to a degree, where someone was going to stay in the van and be like, "I'm just going to stay here."
That was a really fun role, like Command Central. I mean HQ, the van. Yeah. What if, for example, just as an idea to make the Command Central thing a bit more like visually interesting, or give them more stuff to do. Say if you were completing like a puzzle, like you said, Tom, like hacking into something. What if maybe by completing something, it gave them access to, I don't know, say for example, the security cameras turn on for 2 seconds, and for 2 seconds you get a snapshot of what that part of the level looks like from Command HQ. So then you have to be like, okay, shit. So I think there was a door there. So that must be the door that he's talking about. So I know which one to turn off and turn. So it just kind of like, it gives them a little bit of a guiding hand.
I guess that could fall into, you've done really well. Here's something to make you do even better in the next bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe in doing it slowly or whatever, it can give you a boost of like, right, here's the next room.
Maybe you've got to drive the van at the same time. Maybe you can't. Maybe they're tracking you, they're tracing you, so you've got to keep mobile. So you're crawling around the vents, and you'd be also, like, I can't stay here for too long. You have to switch between a load of different cameras to keep an eye on these evil animatronic animal things. And if you don't, then they jump out and kill you.
Right. How many nights have you got to stay there for?
4 or 5.
Right,
nice. I think that's a good balance.
Anywhere from 4 to 6.
Between that. So what if instead of mixing, sort of connecting things together in some arbitrary way, which we haven't solved yet, maybe you have like a battery that can only power certain amounts of things. So each line of things is on a particular grid, and you have to drag the power into each bit, but you can't power everything at the same time. So, if you power this section, great, the doors are open, but you have no control over the CCTV, you have no control over the hacking or whatever. Yeah. And that's how you can limit you can limit them just from turning everything on or everything off or whatever.
That makes me think a little bit, going back to like the VR stuff. Have any of you played Half-Life Alyx?
Yep.
I've seen it.
So there are elements where like there are kind of a lot of quite cool physical puzzles, like VR puzzles that you could only have in VR in there. But some of them are like, you're trying to connect up basically like supply power to a door, and you have like a little tool that you hold next to the wall, and you're tracing the power line around. And there's only a certain amount there's only one line basically that you can connect. But a lot of it is like tracing the route of this line and changing the positions of, it's almost like switching tracks on a train line or something.
Right.
But like you're constantly having to manage like the position of, okay, I've got power running this way, and now I need to switch this one so these two connect, but then it's made this bit spark up. So basically it's the idea that you're constantly moving around, and like, do you have like a finite amount of power? Is it like draining? Or
it's either, I mean, when I was imagining it to begin with, like say there's 6 different grids on the screen in front of you. Yeah. You can only power 3. And if you take power away from that, you then can't control the doors or this mini game hacking bit or whatever else. Or maybe you're trying to actually continually manage this grid, and there's a chance you might surge it and your entire system shuts down for like a couple of seconds, and you have to yell to the guy in the room like, I can't do anything for like 10 seconds because I fucked it. I'm sorry. Well, no, I mean, you're dead. You're dead.
Still while driving, right? We're down with
while
that.
Driving. And
like one hand on the wheel. Like.
Yeah, and also this animal called Teddy, I think would be a good name for this monster. He's chasing after you.
Teddy IE?
Teddy IE. It's 5 days at Teddy's.
5 days in Teddy.
Yeah, what do you think, Chris?
I think that I'm assuming we're keeping this multiplayer now, right? That's the.
I love the multiplayer.
Keep bubbling. Nobody is you is a better title.
Well, no, because the thing I'm going to say is obviously linking into that, so I'm making sure that is something we are sort of staying with. I do think that the idea of losing stuff for like 10 seconds or losing the ability to do stuff should also be in the hands of the other player. Like you have certain stuff that you control for them, and if they don't do stuff in their time, that affects the way you can do certain things. So maybe an alarm is going off. If they don't stop that alarm, then you lose access for 10 seconds until you reboot the system.
They've got
right?
to read the serial number on the side of the keypad or something,
and you have to type that in because they've scrawled it and it's on the keypad. You're like, okay, 672, and they're like, okay, you got that wrong. I've timed out. So, but I think the one thing we are missing here is what is that other game? Like, they are two separate games in theory.
GoldenEye.
It's GoldenEye.
So it's GoldenEye. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Mario Kart 64.
James Bond is you.
Yeah. Bond is you.
Bond is you.
Maybe it's just a heist game. They have to get through 6 different rooms.
Odd Job is you.
It's a heist game, and they're trying to get through, evade the enemies, if there are any, to steal the item and get out safely.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not a spy. You are actually just a thief, and you're trying to break into a bank vault, and you always get the Ocean's 11 style set up at the beginning.
Ocean's 11, the movie, the game.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's hit things off with the franchise straight away.
I don't think the actual gameplay for the thief probably shouldn't be too revolutionary or unique, right? Because it should be something that people are familiar with.
Yeah. I think I was kind of imagining it playing in a similar way to the Stanley Parable, I'll be honest. It's just first person walking through these rooms and observing stuff. Yeah. It doesn't need to be insane. It doesn't need next gen stealth technology. It's just walking around and you can see a dude around a corner, so you back up and go around the corner.
Can you crouch? Is that allowed? You're allowed to crouch?
Hell no. I'm sure. Why not?
It's that janky. Is like you can't even hide behind a plant. You're just like, hello.
You're just standing there. Like it's a very slow source game, and the person on the other end, they're playing the actual game, the real game. Sorry, you're player 2. Little brother always plays the heist guy. Big brother always plays.
How long are
the
rounds?
Cool guy.
If they're not that long, then the idea that you would swap places isn't that unusual. You each take a turn. Yeah,
I think it should be kind of quick. I guess, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes works so well as a party game because so many, any amount of people can hold the manual and help out, right? Whereas this is strictly a 2-player game. I'm wondering if there's a way we can increase that somehow. Or maybe, who cares? It will still sell. It's the best game ever made.
I mean, this feels like I can't think of any other games. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but there must be some. If anyone can think of any, then that have taken Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes, and actually evolved it. Because when it came out, everyone played it, and it's super fun. I think you've done a good job here, Tom. I think you've taken the idea.
It's a brand new idea. This is
and
unique.
You've done something really unique with it. Like
stamp it. This is unique.
Stamp it unique. Unique. We need like a unique sting. A little sting. Unique idea.
It's like the Microsoft World Reveal.
World Premiere.
Unique World Premiere.
They don't have the
Barbara
unique
is
anymore.
you, but its walk is true. World Premiere.
Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11, the movie, the game.
So how is this working now? Is this like 2-player? Does it need to be any more than that? Do you think this is going to be like? Is it better as a 2-player experience? Is it more intense?
Can we bridge crew it? As in like Star Trek bridge crew, where you've got different consoles or different tasks for each
I
person?
suppose, you could. I think I was thinking of having the person in the room being multiple people. I guess, you could just have multiple people in the van and they control different elements.
And they're all sat, you can like turn around. If it's in VR, you can turn around and see them can't tap them on the shoulder, but you can mess with them a bit.
If you haven't got more people to play with, you can just zip to each seat.
Yeah.
And then you can change it up to be like, okay, if you have got friends that are playing with you, you can be like, okay, we need to both press this button in 3 seconds, so you can start doing joint commands.
Like that.
Where in single player, if you're playing on your own, it would be like you press the button and you've got 5 seconds to press it until the next. So you can change that up based on how many players you've got.
I kind of like the idea that if you're single player, you've got like one hand on one keyboard and one hand stretched out to reach the other keyboard. Like, I can do this. Come on.
Just throw something.
4 people here, you bastards.
You have to throw something at another button.
Throw a pencil at it, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
Oh no, I activated the sharks. They're coming for you. It was a bad throw, I'm sorry.
Why do we even have a shark button? What is this for?
right, so
Maybe
now
that's what it
we've got
is.
like the idea of, well, pretty much the core idea of the game. What do you think a level would look like? Say if is it a museum? You're breaking into a museum. Chris the dev.
Thank you, Alex, the man. What if it was you are like you're the main player is an infiltrating spy, and the levels are enemy bases, right? And that's why there's all these weird, wacky traps, and that's the level. That's it. And your team is
They're
like
hacking.
that's your team who are working with you, try and get you in, and that's why there are pits that open up with sharks with lasers on their heads and big spike traps and whatever.
So it's a different Bond villain each level.
Yeah. But you could go really wild with it.
It's the unsung heroes of the Bond world, isn't it? There's always Q behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
this
always
is a
about
story.
James. Who gives a shit about James? Come on.
This is a story of 008. Was there already a 008? I don't know.
And then we can still keep Odd Job is you. No, you're not Odd Job. You're not Odd Job. You're the opposite.
James is Bond.
We could do Odd Job is you, but put an exclamation mark at the start.
James Bond. James is Bond.
James is Bond, exactly.
James is Bond is beautiful.
There you go. I think that works.
I really think it works. I mean, I think you've bingo bango bongoed it, Tom.
Bingo bango. See you later, everyone.
That's the
Until next time.
I think rather
bingo
than
bongo.
just to bring back, rather than the ocean, we talked about the Ocean's 11 thing. I think the reason why that wouldn't work is you can't have the bombastic stuff. I think you're right, Chris. You need the Bond villain mad traps to make it that much more interesting, to have the more like perilous stuff. What bank vault's going to have a snake pit in it? It's not.
So would it be, for example, if you...
The S stands for snakes.
You walk into a room and you see, I don't know, like there's a big sign that says Shark Tank or Shark Hole. And then there's a door, and the door suddenly starts sliding open, and there's a timer, and you're like, oh, fuck, the shark hole's opening. I have 30 seconds. So then you have to figure out, whoever is back in the HQ has to figure out, okay, whose job is that to close the shark hole? We have to hack, so it's the hacker. The hacker has to hack in.
I hate that when that happens.
To close the shark hole.
I like that we could get the franticness of keep talking in there. You might have a station with manuals on it that's still like, okay, I need to find out where they control doors in. That's on this machine. Okay, go here.
It's either that or the guy who is looking at the shark hole opening wide and agape. He can see a console next to it and it has a symbol on it. So he's like, okay, this console has upside down squid octopus thing. And everyone is looking around the room like, where the fuck is upside down squid octopus thing? Literally the symbols.
Let's
game
press
from
this
that
in
one.
3, 2, 1, and then you have to press it together. Yeah. And then I think that works really well, and it just adds to the cooperation. I think those kind of games are really actually sort of kicking off. If you look at It Takes Two and like the way Joseph Fares, his games, I think he's called.
Oh yeah, the Brothers guy, Hazelight, is it?
A Way Out, the Hazelight Studios. Like, look at his games; they're pure co-op, but a lot of them are communication heavy because you're both doing separate things, but you can still both see each other. Whereas the man in the man in the van or woman in the woman,
men with vent,
the men with vent,
Well done. Nice
thanks.
one being PC.
They can see the everything, whereas you're limited to like an earpiece and telling them what to do, which is kind of how it would work, I guess, because you've hacked in and you can see the security system.
Okay.
And I think that's just a really nice direct line of communication. People have got their own shit to worry about, but also you're all coming together for a common purpose. And that's
still the Declaration of the Independence.
What would some of the issues be? So there would be like, you could do like they do in We Were There Together 2 once, where they interrupt the walkie-talkie. The earpiece could like bug out or something for a bit.
Oh, like just kind of random events.
There's a jammer here or something. Like you could try and I need to.
You're in the same room.
Position myself.
Oh no, that's what I mean. If you surge the power, then maybe the communication with the guy in the room, you can't hear him anymore, or something.
What if
like
you're
that?
in the same room? If I'm physically sitting in the same room with you, all of a sudden, I can't speak.
I mean,
fair.
the guy,
just go, Tom.
The guy in the room doing the heist, you lose communication with them for 5 seconds or whatever.
This isn't local, right?
With the batteries.
This wouldn't be local co-op. This would be you'd have to.
No, it can't be.
You could. In theory,
but also,
play it locally.
when we sell it, we let the other person play for free. All they have to do is download the game, just like Hazelight Studios.
Wait,
wow, we're so generous.
Which person plays for free? Which is the actual meat of the
generous.
game? The person doing the heist or the person overseeing?
Well, we have
I feel like the person
here.
with the VR headset should get it.
You bring up a good point. Do we sell? We force people to buy 2 copies of it, so they have to play together. It's multiplayer only, and we're forcing people to buy both copies, or we're selling 2 different versions of the game. So if you want to play the control room, you buy that version of the game. And you have to play it with people who have bought the heist version of the game.
That requires way too much.
This is a kind of like a whole Pokemon Sword Shield kind of deal.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if we could. If I don't know,
what if all of your friends only bought the control version? All you can do is sit in the van together, just like.
Sorry.
Well, that's their problem, right?
Oh, nice one, Alex. I told you to get the heist one.
I feel like I said I didn't want to. I didn't want to do the heist. I wanted to do the control room. That's the good stuff.
We can't play it. We literally cannot play this game because you bought the wrong one.
This game is fucking shit. Then.
Wow.
I'm refunding.
Do you have to?
Unlucky for you guys, the BAFTAs have already been and gone, so you couldn't win it for that fucking performance.
I don't have a VR headset. Fuck this game. I'm not buying it.
I think, like Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. You can play it in both VR and not in VR.
Yeah.
I think there's no reason why you couldn't have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just better in VR.
It's a bit like not asynchronous, but what's it called? What is it? Asynchronous multiplayer with what's the?
Sorry, what?
Asynchronous multiplayer. Asynchronous multiplayer. Go on.
Synchronous multiplayer with.
He's got Tom.
What's the game? Not Left 4 Dead. Do you know the game when there's the serial killer and you're like the other people trying to escape?
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, that's the
Dead
one.
by Daylight, but like co-op. It's not like you buy different versions of that, right? And I can't imagine like you don't have to play this game with your friends. Like,
right. I guess we
better
won't
to do
be
it.
greedy on this one.
But I feel like you just jump into a game. Sometimes you want to be the heist man. Sometimes you want to be.
You can just search for a game.
Person in the verse.
Yeah. Doesn't that solve all those issues? Hi, I am this player. I'm looking for match. It's like Tinder. Hi,
Wait,
I am man in van. I am searching for spy.
Are we allowing online matchmaking in this game? Because that sounds awful.
I mean, if you have to allow it, right? Some people.
Oh God!
For the people that don't have friends,
we need to give it to the content creators, right? They'll make some good videos out of it, like that. Not for us to play.
Hopefully.
Like we wouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna play this.
I don't play any online multiplayer game with people that I don't know anymore. I'm just too old to just be abused.
It's a game focused. So my goal for this game is that people playing it are just screaming constantly. I don't mean just guttural roars. I mean just shouting communications back and forth throughout the entire thing. Online matchmaking with some random guy, I'm gonna lose my shit.
There's a game on VR called Cookout: A Sandwich Tale, which forces you to play online. Otherwise, you have to play with an AI robot. You have to crank him off every cut. Crank him up.
Sorry, excuse me. Our listeners can't see the webcam, so
I did a cranking motion. It was circular. You have to crank him off to power him up.
Right,
and, otherwise, you have to play with multiplayer, and it has voice. And I tried playing it, was searching for someone, and it's drop in, drop out, and people are idiots.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Jesus Christ. But the good thing about VR, well, if they do it a certain way, you can tell suddenly the people who are playing have become a lot shorter. And you're like, well, that's a child, and that's why they're a moron. And then you're like, there's this kid screaming just ham at you, and you're like, I'm doing the meats, you are on vegetables.
I love this image of you arguing with a child in a cooking game in VR.
The plate rotates round. It goes past him, then comes to me. He needs to put his shit on the plate first. I can't put ham on a plate. I need the bread. And it's like,
I'm doing the meat, you fucking child.
Yeah, that's what you're screaming at this kid.
Adult here.
Wow.
And then he's just like, ham. And you're like, stop saying ham. It's like, ham's not, the werewolf doesn't even want the fucking ham. Oh,
Okay,
Jesus
so
Christ, honestly.
that leads to the question, do we? Tom, in your head, are we cutting off all online multiplayer, like as in like, you know, without friends, or is there some way we get around that? Is there a pinging system, a text system, or do we just say, fuck it, you just play with your friends?
Oh, if you're not playing this game, if you haven't got a microphone, you cannot play this game. I'm not gonna like tailor this to you. You can't play it.
Okay,
It's
I like
not
that.
for you.
I like the commitment.
If you got no friends, it's not for you.
You sure you don't want to have like the old classic spy watch James Bond had, where it printed out messages from the watch? So you could just have a text input. It's fine. The most irritating, like, what does that symbol say?
Oh, I'm getting a watch fax. Thanks. Oh, fantastic.
To make sure we're all on the same page, can you give us a rundown of what currently James is Bond? Is that the working title?
James is Bond 008.
Wow.
An Ocean's 11 tale. Or Keep Barbara and Nobody Is You. So one person is sat on a switchboard with a ton of different controls, and they are communicating with their friend who is in this building doing a heist. He's heisting. And he is dealing with loads of different things. Closed doors, hackable things,
Damn those doors.
Shark holes that are opening up all the time, and also robot butlers with lasers. And he's communicating all these things to you while you are trying to operate the entire facility on a airport style switchboard, connecting things together and hacking into stuff and making sure your power doesn't surge, because then you'll lose communication with them. So he can get through the 7, 10, 11, 25 rooms to steal the Declaration of Independence and get out of there. Also, there's mechanical monsters chasing after you, and you have to keep a watch on them or they'll kill you.
You've got to crank them off.
You have to crank them. You have to crank off Teddy.
Okay, that's the subtitle. James is Bond 008, crank off Teddy.
Yeah.
Chris, are you happy with this? Is this something that you could play?
Oh, I'm never happy, Alex, but this idea is quite fun.
Are you relatively happy in the context?
I mean, okay, yeah, having played a lot of VR recently and knowing the things I hate the most, which is mostly just playing with random people. Again, the meat child, as I'm going to have to call him. I didn't know him well enough to know his name.
Sound like a psychopath.
I think it was John Ham.
Meat. Oh, nice.
Oh.
He's like a Pokemon, just screaming his own name.
.mp3. Ham. Oh, look. Gary Lettuce has joined.
That's his brother.
No, it's Gary Pickles. Come on.
Gary Pickles. I like Keep Talking and Explode. I like asynchronous multiplayer stuff. I like a lot of things apparently, but
turns out you're a very cheerful guy.
Yeah, all I needed was just 6 months off from this shit, and I'm back.
There we go.
Yeah, I think I like it.
Wow. And James?
Yeah, I'm down. I think the only thing I would say, just to comment on Tom's summary, was I think we're not going to steal anything. I think there should be like a little boss fight at the end. If you're the spy,
okay,
what are you there for? You're not necessarily always stealing. There might be you've got to go in with the golden gun and shoot what's his name, or There's got to be what's the build up to?
So some kind of end level boss fight.
What's the ending of the level?
You're fighting the
You
boss
could
villain.
steal like
the Bond
nuclear
villain.
codes. You could be stealing
Nuclear codes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right.
I mean,
every level.
all we've done is changed what you're stealing to something cool, and you're okay with it.
And now I'm okay with it.
Easily convinced.
That was fucking easy.
Easy.
Super shallow.
All right.
Just wanted to be sure, just testing that
Okay.
it all works. But yeah, I'm down. I don't have a VR headset, but if there's like a way to
It's
play
playable without.
I can see this being really popular.
the Quest 2 is only $299, not pounds, like $299. That would be very cheap if it was $299.
I've been
throwing
missing
that in
out this
there.
whole time.
All
But
right.
this
Well,
game is £200, so
Chris,
you put that on top of it.
Chris is up for it. James is up for it. Tom, you had me at Bubba is you, not you. Bubba we. You were Bubba,
Bubba is
you were not
Bond.
Bubba.
Bubba is you, but its walk is true.
Yeah, that.
That's almost the first thing I said this podcast, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm thunderously happy with the idea that you've presented. I think that's wonderful.
Thunderously. There you go. Boom. Season 2.
Holy shit!
What a great start.
Congratulations, everyone.
Let us know what you thought of this game. Tell us about the game at Pitch Please Pod. Pitch Please without the vowels, pod with the vowel. Tell us what you thought, and also send us your jingles for World Reveals.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
I'm going to go crank myself off.